Alright. And here. Here. Welcome to Blerd Culture issue number 8. Hey, that kind of harmonized. I love you. I'm Troy, and I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Ethan.
Hello, everybody.
And Humps.
Electric lady, get away down.
Hey, all right. It sounded like the beginning of like a '90s black sitcom. All right.
No. So the only reason I did that is because Janelle Monáe murdered that Prince tribute, and we'll talk about that later. But I just want to give her respect. She's just
beautiful. Specimen. All right, join us as we discuss the blurtiest topics on a bi-weekly basis. This week we talk about juicy Justice League news, Jay-Z waving goodbye to Tidal. I know you like that play on words. And we double check on Sean to see if he's still lost in Jesse Williams' eyes. I just found my way out this morning. So
I'm still lost.
Before we start the show, remember that if you don't like anything we're talking about, skip ahead by checking the timestamps in the description and find something you actually do like. With that said, the Character Chronicles is here, where each week we'll give a bio on an important black character and the impact they've made in the medium, whether it be in TV, comics, or video games. This week, Sean takes helm.
All right, so The Daily Show got 6 feet smaller this week as we learned that all 72 inches of senior correspondent Jessica Williams, who, by the way, is younger than every single one of us, she was born in 1989, will be leaving the show to start working on her own scripted series on Comedy Central. While not technically a character in the traditional sense, Jessica Williams has become a fixture in the lives of satirical news lovers across America, so I thought it was only fitting to bid her a special farewell, while we also await her return to TV. So when she joined The Daily Show in 2012, Jessica became the long-running show's youngest correspondent ever, and in her 4 years on The Daily Show, armed with only her unparalleled wit, sarcasm, and an endless string of one-liners, Jessica has changed the game with her blunt and unapologetic focus on race and gender issues in America, always telling her stories and conducting her interviews through a lens of ridiculous but relatable humor and taking down crazies and bigots everywhere with the power of cold, hard logic. Some of my favorite examples from The Daily Show include the Frisky Business segment, where Jessica takes us to one of the most crime-ridden streets in New York City, Wall Street. Totally flipping the racial profiling script because everyone knows that a finely tailored Italian suit is the safest way to travel in New York City. Yes. Another is the trans panic epidemic, where she attempts in vain to convince an insane Elmer Fudd lookalike preacher that, that trans people are absolutely not possessed by evil bathroom-using demons. And my personal favorite, the time she delivered an expertly crafted read in response to Fox News' old and boring outrage over Beyoncé's performance of Formation at this year's Super Bowl, reminding the impossibly ridiculous haters that Beyoncé does not have to keep her mouth shut, specifically because it makes Middle America uncomfortable. Exactly. Jessica Williams is out here trying to save the world one side at a time, and I support her every step of the way. Jessica is currently one half of the podcasting comedy duo Two Dope Queens alongside Phoebe Robinson, known for her work on Broad City and Girl Code, and you should definitely check that one out. It's a really good time. And that is Jessica Williams.
I did not know she had a podcast.
Yeah, it's so basically the format is that they just kind of they talk about life and tell random stories about ridiculous things that happen to them, and then it's broken up by just stand-up comedy segments from just all kinds of different comedians of every race, gender, ethnic background, socioeconomic background. So it's really cool. It's a cool. Very cool experience.
Check that out. I mean, I've always loved her delivery from essentially the moment she came on The Daily Show. But she also has that poignancy that, you know, the political, satirical show kind of calls for.
Right.
So to me, it only makes sense that she would advance in really such a quick amount of time just because she is just that talented.
I was surprised they didn't make her the host of The Daily Show when John found it.
I wasn't too surprised. I mean, I feel like she and this is just a personal opinion, and this would go for anybody, coming in after John.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a tough act to follow.
Yeah.
I could see within like a few years that happening.
Yeah, keep in mind she's barely 26. That's
Yeah, you're right. She had a very, very very amazing career ahead of her. So I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, from my perspective, like, I think it's pretty dope that she was, when people were asking her, "Are you taking over? Are you taking over?" when John announced that he was leaving, I thought it was pretty dope that her first response was, "I am in no position to do that. I'm not ready for that." And she understands that, maybe she wants to get there one day, but she understands that she has time to get there and that there's no need to rush. So yeah, I have so much respect for the woman. I'm looking forward to what she does in the future.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely. All right, now for Planet Bugle, which is the latest news and rumors in the nerdtainment industry, handed to us directly by Perry White. First, we will start with Star Trek. Star Trek news with Sean.
Well done.
Thank you. I've been working on my vernaculars.
All right, so following the release of the final Star Trek Beyond trailer, which, by the way, was cool, but it was also just like a very straightforward action trailer. Didn't show a whole lot new that we didn't really know. The music video for Rihanna's song titled Sledgehammer on the upcoming Star Trek Beyond soundtrack, the song that was played during the second half of this trailer, premiered on Thursday morning in IMAX theaters. Sledgehammer is the first music video to be shot entirely with IMAX cameras. It's a pretty cool video starring my Bajan queen Rihanna, conquering a planet in the name of my beloved Barbados. And there is a very short cameo from the Starship Enterprise itself. My personal favorite moment from not even moment, but concept from the video is that Rihanna is dressed basically exactly like Avatar Aang, rocking the full Rihanna forehead and at its most glorious. She has the Fire Nation version of Katara's hairdo, doing some classic Toph style earthbending. She's literally representing the entire Avatar TV show, probably not even on purpose, but what I got from it was that this 4-minute video was better than the entire waste of a movie that M. Night Shyamalan tricked me into paying for. So, yes.
Yeah, I love the video. It's so crazy to me to see where Rihanna's vocal range and melody ideas came from.
Absolutely.
As to go from, I said, 1 by 1 and 2 by 2, and now it's like...
Come through Mr. DJ, some pondy replay.
I knew you could not go through that without singing that song. But no, shout out to Rihanna. Rihanna out here balling. She got IMAX theater camera videos, and that they showed this video in IMAX. Like, you could go pay for a ticket to watch a music video. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's, to be honest, what I have been most impressed by. And I mean, this could bring some hate towards me from the Navy, I guess, but
oh God.
Rihanna's vocals have never done anything for me. If I'm being completely honest,
Troy felt the same way. It's not just you.
Yeah, I mean, but like at times, like she would like make me cringe, just because like certain notes when she would like do ballads would just be like too off for me, where I couldn't listen. But I give credit where credit is due. And clearly she's been working on her voice. She did a performance, I want to say at maybe the Billboard Award.
Yeah, Billboard Music Awards.
Love on Your Brain.
Yes,
Brain.
Yes. And
wait, I'm sorry. Love on Your Brain sounds like a zombie song. I'm sorry.
Love on Brain. But yeah, so this song, as Troy said, her versatility and her kind of vocal depth has expanded beyond the scope that I thought that it was going to. And it's a really strong and beautiful song, and her vocals are very well suited for this movie, which is so climactic and epic, and then just impressive on an artist level. And that to me what was most impressive, that she kind of went from someone that I didn't see as a vocalist to someone who I'm now pretty impressed with.
Yeah, so my thing is, like, okay, pretty much day one, I hear about this girl, Rihanna, who's from Barbados, and all of a sudden she has this hit song. And by default, because my family is from Barbados, because I spent so much time in Barbados growing up, I like automatically had to be a fan of her, and I was gonna love anything she did, and I was gonna support everything she did, whether it was good or bad. And I always knew that she wasn't like this power vocalist. But then here's the thing: once Rated R happened after the whole Chris Brown tragedy, um, things kind of changed where she started to really, really focus on, okay, how do I make the sound that comes out of my head sound better? And she's now one of the few that does like these true power ballads. And she's no Beyonce, she's no Adele, she's never going to be, but I think she's finally figured out exactly what she's capable of and where her voice should go. She does some very, very unique runs. That no one else is doing, just because her voice is kind of unusual. Sia is probably the only person that has anything similar, which is why they sound so good together. Yes. When Sia wrote this song in addition to a lot of her other hits. And so my perspective is, if you listen to this song, if you listen to Sledgehammer, and you still sit there and you say Rihanna can't sing, you're lying to yourself, because the track is very, very minimal, especially through the verses, and there's only so much that post-production can do to cover up a bad voice, and this girl is singing. She is singing, like she is laying out some music, and I love it, and I support her, and I'm so happy that she's like singing now and not just making these fun pop records, which are also great, but I'm here for some singing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same here. Like as I've said before, I'm a big fan of vocalists, specifically female vocalists, and now she is beginning to earn my respect in that regard.
Right. Yeah. Ethan, you should check out Anti, that album, like Baby.
Yeah, I think you'll appreciate it. It's very artistic in a way that people didn't expect from her.
Cool, I'll check it out.
Cool. Now for my favorite show, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. news. So Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., yes, Marvel being front of it was not a typo, may finally be adding an actual superhero to their show, guys.
What?
No.
I know. Well, anti-superhero by the name of Ghost Rider. It's an older version, so we won't have to worry about the taint of Nicolas Cage movies.
The taint? What?
Yes. There are actually two of those. Two tainted Ghost Rider movies. So yeah, the character is based off of Robbie Reyes, which is an older version of Ghost Rider. It's cool. I mean, that show, I will always give that show props for the diversity that they have within it. So it's a rumor as well. It's not officially confirmed, but a lot of their artwork that they've shown as they head to Comic-Con shows like the cast with fiery chains around them. So it's like a big hint. But finally, we're getting something for me to look for. Well, I don't know. Quake was a cool hero, and then the one time they had the girl from Thor on the show was cool too. And
she
Nick
was on
Fury.
twice, I think, so.
Yeah, you're right. But the first episode I don't count, because that first episode that she was on was absolutely trash. But the two times Nick Fury was on was cool too. So yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to it. How about you guys?
I am of two minds. I both want the show to have more heroes on it. I guess maybe because I don't have that strong of a connection to Ghost Rider that I can't get myself too excited for it. I'm not sure how he fits into the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. world and then just kind of the Marvel universe as a whole. I mean, maybe I'm sure you both have more of a context and history with this character, and perhaps if I knew that, I just can't really picture like this motorcycle fiery skull looking guy that's showing up at S.H.I.E.L.D. like, hey y'all,
Yeah. It's a little dramatic.
Right. Just a tad bit dramatic, so I'm not quite sure what that looks like.
I was thinking that too. I was like, of all the characters that Marvel will let them have this show, he would be way more suited to be on the Netflix series.
Yes, exactly.
But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that just sounds, unless he's going to be a tag along thing for 2 episodes. It'd be weird.
I can't imagine how they're gonna pull off the effect of Ghost Rider. You need a budget for that. Even his head is on fire.
Well, they do get a good budget for 2 episodes. I will say, not 3 episodes. It's the first episode, the middle season. I mean, it's the middle season finale, and then the season finale. I always have really good budgets for those. but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm not personally the biggest fan of Ghost Rider. I've just never really paid much attention to him. I don't find the concept of him that terribly cool. But I do respect that he's getting another opportunity in the MCU proper, rather than I think it was Columbia Pictures that did that hot mess with Nicolas Cage. I didn't even see the second one, but if you haven't seen either of those movies, that's okay. That's perfectly fine.
You're not missing anything.
I mean, at the same time, I'm all for them at least attempting to infuse this show with a bit more actual heroism and powers. Because Chloe Bennett did essentially speak out to a Wizard World crowd where she said, the Marvel Cinematic Universe loves to pretend that everything is connected, but then they don't acknowledge our show at all. So I would love to do that, but they don't seem to be too keen on that idea. So, and that's coming from the actor, so she shares the same feelings that we do, essentially, when it comes to this. And so, once again, I'm split. I feel like if they do it right, it can work. Once again, I don't know how he fits into everything, but I'm open-minded about it if it does happen.
I would say at least this might link to the Netflix thing. Like I could see somehow them figuring out this character and him existing in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and also being able to exist like when the Defenders film. Hopefully, that's just
that could be cool.
My concern is like, how does I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. really. I'm familiar with some of it, but how does Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. handle things like mysticism and stuff? Because there's some mysticism involved with Ghost Rider.
They don't. It's like, just kidding. Looking back on it, I'm trying to think. Like, maybe the closest thing. I'm trying to think if there was anything in season 2 when they went with what are those enhanced people called?
Inhumans.
Inhumans, yes.
Inhumans. I feel like something with that land that they went to that was like apart from reality.
That and then
mysticism involved in that at all?
The Thor based episodes are kind of mystic to it. As much as Thor tries to say,
Thor is like, oh, this is scientific, but there's magic people with magic powers.
Right, yeah. They need to embrace magic.
Like the closest the MCU has come to doing like magic proper is Scarlet Witch, but even that they're explaining away as like psychic powers. And so until we get Doctor Strange, we don't know how they treat mysticism. So I'm gonna remain cautiously optimistic.
We'll see. That's everyone's favorite word. Is cautiously optimistic. I keep saying that for everyone.
It's valid though. Like I don't want to write it off because I have no idea what's gonna happen. But at the same time, like I can see this going very, very left.
Yeah. Random.
There's a high risk of failure, but I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Random. I was just thinking like the other day. One of the highlights for Doctor Strange is me. I feel like I'm going to go see that movie in 3D. Because the visuals for that are probably astounding in 3D. But
if nothing else, it's going to be gorgeous, even if it's not good.
It's gorgeous in the bad. All right, so I guess moving on to Justice League news.
It's lit!
So they released the new logo for it. It's pretty straightforward and simple, monochromatic, black and white, and then the inverse of that. I feel like it didn't really need anything too special. They also released more information about the actual film, and just from the synopsis, it looks like it does pick up essentially right after Dawn of Justice ends, where Batman and Wonder Woman are searching to find the other metahumans to form the team known as the Justice League, as they face a threat of catastrophic proportions. And that actual threat, the villain, is, which is a surprise to literally everyone, is Steppenwolf, which I'm actually on board for. For those who don't know, Steppenwolf is a new god who is Darkseid's general. He is very lethal. He is a powerhouse. He's immortal, has super strength, speed, military knowledge. He's a master of weaponry. He uses
awesome headset piece.
That's not even fair because like. So he's Superman plus like he knows how to do practical things.
Yeah.
He is so extra.
It's the power of practicality. Yes, thank Jack Kirby for this. I'm a huge fan of Jack Kirby and his creations of the new gods, and he's of course done things for Marvel. And I think this is actually a good idea because I feel like going straight into Darkseid, like I need more of a build up for him. Yes,
Yeah.
like they were making references to like parademons and new gods in Dawn of Justice, and it felt like they were essentially going to go straight there. But I feel like this is the better way as almost like a harbinger for the main event, which is soon to come, which is going to make that feel even more epic.
Exactly. Like Darkseid needs his story told like and built up properly because if people think Joker is like a crazy villain, like Darkseid is like the ultimate general, like Hitler-esque type, like he's so he's crazy. I remember there was a thing where he fought Batman and he said how he appreciates America because he appreciates the Earth because you have wars that kill each other, right? And he has nothing. He said his planet they don't even do that, but he said it's a he loves that technique that you'll be willing to kill each other to win a war. So he's an amazing I don't want to say amazing because it makes me sound like a terrible person. But he's like a unique villain. So I can't wait for him. Also, I did want to say the logo. The logo, yeah, it's simple. I like the logo because I can just wear it on a shirt.
Yeah, I value simplicity in logos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as they maintain an identity.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I did want to. Go ahead.
Sorry, quick note. It does look like they will be making it more optimistic. They're using the death of Superman and his selfless act as a way for, I guess, specifically Bruce Wayne to quote unquote lighten up. From what Ben Affleck has been saying, he's not going to be jokey Marvel really, but
he's not going to be the Iron Man.
Right. He's going to have like a more kind of darker noir sense of humor, which I feel like is appropriate
I feel like that's
for Batman.
to DC Comics compared to Marvel anyway.
What's that?
I said I feel like that's appropriate to DC Comics.
Yeah, I mean definitely. Like I feel like this world definitely has its own tone, and I feel like they should stay with that tone. After the events of Dawn of Justice and Superman dying, I do feel like it is good to make sure that his death wasn't in vain. And actually, one of the quotes from Batman that he said to Superman was that the last time you inspired people was when you died. Which is a really effed up thing to say, but it's also like a very kind of powerful commentary about what Superman represents and essentially that situation of not knowing what you have when you have it and how important this character is until he's gone. So that's honestly what I feel like the movie did very well.
To me, as long as they can go lighter if they want to, as long as it is in the name of a good film and not in the name of appeasing critics, then I approve.
Yeah. There's only two things I need from this movie, just two simple things. One, I need just a slight like hint or cameo of Green Lantern at the end, right? Just maybe if it's like a shining green light right before the movie cuts the credits. And then two, I really need Cyborg to say "booyah" at one point.
Oh God, that episode is back, Troy.
Nah, yo,
That's what I'm talking
one
about.
booyah.
No, it wouldn't because people don't even know that like black people were saying "booyah" in the 90s because they think they invented it in 2000 or something.
That's true.
It could be like him getting shot all crazy.
Everything.
It could be like him. It could be him getting like shot all crazy, and then him getting like one final like white noise cannon blast off as he falls. He's like, "Booyah!" Like that would be that would be so dope.
Okay, I guess if it's in his delivery and how he delivers this
Not like
line,
if he's like eating chicken, like "Ooh, booyah!"
that's what I'm at. Booyah! In your face.
Oh Lord! Please, Master Bruce.
This chicken good, man. Booyah!
Knock down, turn around, pick a pile of hate. Oh God!
Enough of the coonery. This was a lot.
Please.
But yeah, so ultimately, I'm even more excited about Justice League. I feel like this news, it might not seem that paramount to people, but just knowing the direction where it's heading, the inclusion of this villain, which is foretelling of future movies for this series is super exciting.
Yeah, release date November 2017, a month before Star Wars Episode 8, which is I like how November is kind of becoming like the secondary blockbuster
Yeah.
movie this year. But like Hunger Games was this year, and then I mean it was last year, and then
Yeah,
Doctor
Hunger Games
Strange
was doing that for a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Resident Evil used to be in that on that train in September, but I mean that was terrible.
fart noises, all that fart noises.
I like the first one. I really like the first one, and the third one I don't hate, especially when Ashanti is getting eaten by birds. I think that's
Okay,
fine.
Ashanti was in there.
Yeah, she played a nurse for like 12 seconds, and she like saved a bunch of people by getting eaten by birds, but her scream was awkward and funny. So I like
The zombies didn't get distracted by her sideburns. I would be surprised if she didn't get. I'm done.
No, low key, I've always like found sideburns of women attractive. I don't even know why.
I don't know why.
I don't know what it is. Either.
It's just so, like I just like in my brain I think mutton chops. Like as soon as
That's actually, I don't know what you're talking about. Give me a full beard.
how do you think I lined up like that? All right.
Oh man.
Okay. Now for Technologic, our tech resident Humps will update us on the latest in the tech industry filled with tech-like things and a tech-like nature. And Sean, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Humps, the tech expert, whatever. So this is Technologic, where I discuss some of my favorite tech news stories, some that dominated the headlines and others that flew completely under the radar. First up, Apple is in talks to acquire Tidal. So Apple is reportedly considering an acquisition of Jay-Z's music streaming service Tidal, originally launched in 2014 prior to Jay-Z's purchase of the service. Tidal has focused primarily on offering high-fidelity music to provide superior sound quality over competing services such as Spotify. Since Jay-Z came into the picture in 2015, though, Tidal has benefited from exclusivity deals with some of the biggest artists in the music industry, including Beyonce, Kanye West, and Rihanna. This has meant that none of these artists' music would be available on any other streaming service upon initial release. So, do you guys have any thoughts on this acquisition? Potential acquisition.
First, I would say you could just stop at Beyonce. That's the reason why Apple Music like, y'all got Beyonce?
Enough said.
No, I mean they know how important and Kanye are to like making money too.
And the second, they were like, Jay-Z said it best, man. He's not a businessman. He is a businessman. Like he probably get $1 billion. $8 billion
emphasis
for a company he bought like 2-3 years ago?
No, it was last year.
Yeah, he literally bought this Russian company, Russian streaming service, made it for himself, and he knew like he always has a plan, man.
Mm-hmm. What's dope about it is that like Tidal does not have a ton of customers, but what they do have is that they pull the audiophile crowd. So an audiophile, for those who don't know, is somebody who's just extremely passionate about authentic, undegraded music experience. No loss in audio quality. And then they also make money again off of these exclusivity deals because people will pay for an entire month just to listen to the new Rihanna album a week early, or just to watch Lemonade because they missed it on HBO. So they're not doing so bad. And for Jay-Z himself, Apple picking them up is like, let me just add this to me and my wife's huge purse of money because we are so rich. Go ahead.
Okay. I don't have like too strong of an opinion. Like my opinion comes from like a very kind of small and selfish kind of aspect to it, which is like when Lemonade came out, like sometimes I just like to go online and like, listen to a song or listen to a video, and it's hard to do that with them being on Tidal and things being taken off. So if them joining Apple helps with that, then I'm on board? ?
Yeah, I mean it's a double-edged sword because on the one hand, like you said, you're reducing the number of places you have to go for exclusive content. Right. But on the other hand, now Apple is in charge of that much more exclusive content. They already had Taylor Swift,
Drake,
iRoll, Adele. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
now that's just excuse me, increasing their library of exclusive artists, which is great for probably the artists, is great for Apple, is great for Jay-Z, and in one sense is great for us, but in another it kind of sucks.
I mean,
because essentially they're monopolizing the market, and whenever that happens,
sort
there's
of,
always
yeah.
pros and cons to it.
and then my thing was like Tidal. The reason why I dug Tidal so much is that one, it's black owned. It's
Right.
and then two, Jay-Z as an artist was looking out for other artists. So
Before
so,
Taylor Swift was, so y'all can put that away. I'm
Yes,
tired
please.
of her getting credit for everything.
Please.
Everybody put Jay-Z down for doing this to give
Please.
artists more money, and then Taylor Swift pulled her thing from Apple Music, and everybody wanted to praise her as the queen. I myself was like, oh, Taylor Swift is dope. I love it. And then I saw her for who she really is. I don't trust her. So, but some of her music is still good though, so I'll listen to it. Whatever.
Yeah, somehow I will give her. She got some bangers. I'll give her that. But
1989 was fire.
There's some bad blood.
terrible.
I know.
Oh goodness.
Oh. All right. Next up in sadder news, a Tesla Model S with the autopilot system activated was involved in a fatal crash this week. This is the first known fatality in just over 130 million miles where autopilot was activated. And among vehicles in the United States, there's a fatality every 94 million miles, and worldwide, a fatality occurs approximately every 60 million miles. So what this actually means is that while statistically less prone to accidents with autopilot activated, the technology that is used to sort of basically allow a car to drive itself is nothing close to perfect. It does not completely make up for human error. It is not at all equivalent to what a lot of bigger companies are doing with self-driving vehicles, despite being able to accomplish very similar things. And the real moral of the story here is that even with the influx of self-driving technology making its way into more and more affordable cars every day, my own car even has a system that can brake for me if it thinks that I'm driving too fast.
Ball and Sean. Sean's with a humble brag. All right.
No. But I'm just saying, like, it surprised me. I didn't know it could do that. But so this is really a stop laughing. This is sad.
I'm sorry.
This is ultimately a reminder that no matter how capable your cars are, the responsibility to control your own vehicle still is in your own hands.
Sure. It's great. I was just at a dealership with my $80,000 check from this show about to buy one of them Tesla things, but then luckily Google alerts hit me and was like, bro, hold off on that. Cars are murdering people. So
I mean, you can go for the Tesla Model 3 in 3 to 5 years and pay, I think it's $35,000. You can pre-order it for.
Well, how my bank account set up. I'm just wait until I get it. But no. I mean, it's. I will say one of the the good things about it is that Tesla was very upfront about the accident. As soon as it happened, they explained everything went down because they wanted to be very transparent. They didn't want to no secret thing, and I love them for that. I thought that was really cool. I mean, their stock dropped by 2.5%. After this happened, I'm sure it's still kind of going down, but not a crazy jump.
It's not gonna die. This is it's the car of the rich people now.
It's like Tesla,
even though it's not the most expensive car, it's the one that the rich people want to have.
It's made by our Iron Man, our version of Iron Man. So it's not going anywhere. But I didn't even. It's funny because like when this story hit, I was like, I didn't even know these cars were out yet.
There's where I live, because I live in the suburbs of Baltimore, so there's a lot of like very wealthy people in the area, and so I see them all the time, and it still baffles me that like y'all are paying this much money for these cars.
I'd be too worried, man. I can't. I'd be too worried to be in a car that drives itself, man. I don't know.
There's a Tesla dealership up the street. I should go test drive one, actually.
Yeah, don't do that, man. Somebody just died.
My bad.
All right, you're a very detrimental part of the show. You put the show up and stuff.
And finally, and most stupidly, this past Wednesday, the internet found itself behaving poorly yet again when the hashtag Heterosexual Pride Day managed to become a trending topic on Twitter and Facebook. This strange hashtag then spawned the sister topic, White History Month. And from there, news feeds and timelines everywhere were surely flooded with one of two things. Either memes of varying hilarity dismissing these ludicrous hashtags, or people of questionable intelligence spewing utter ignorance in defense of these stupid things because these people totally and completely miss the point, as usual. I feel like this doesn't even need to be talked about in depth because it's just so dumb, but you guys are free to comment if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, it's not questionable intelligence; it's zero intelligence. I mean, it's like what's
True.
like there's literally like no like conversation. Well, and that's my issue. Like even like thinking about it like tires me out. It's like because it's so obvious that the fact of the matter is that these people don't need hashtags, don't need
the whole
that
point.
representation
No.
for it, and yet you still want it, and that just shows you how deeply instilled your privilege is.
Privileged people want to be oppressed so bad.
Yes,
Say,
it's
"Oh,
not
so
fair.
bad."
It's not fair that other
It's not-
people get to be treated unfair. They need some of
Oppression.
that unfairness.
Guys, oppression sucks. You don't want it.
I remember,
Oppression is for everybody.
I remember, I remember one time. This is how bad people want to be oppressed. I remember one of my favorite developers, Craig. I forgot his last name, but he develops Gears of War 4. He said Olivia Munn was appropriating nerd culture.
Oh.
Come on, my guy.
Olivia Munn.
Yeah, because she was like, she did talk on the show for a bit and then used that to boost her platform. Like, come on, man. Like,
Why do we
nerd
think?
culture?
Why do we assume she's not a nerd? And why are we making nerd culture one thing or
That was
another?
the dumbest thing ever.
Our whole show proves that nerd culture is so many things.
it's cool to be in there. Okay, anyway, but my favorite thing, and this is the only thing I'm going to say on the whole hetero. Well, actually, I had two things. One, they only do these hashtags out of spite. It's never to make themselves feel better. It's always because, oh, we got some. I mean, they got some, so we gonna make ours better. Like, and we never do that. Black History Month is not to be out of spite of white people. Black Girls Rock hashtag is not to be out of spite of white girls. It's just saying, hey, we get like knocked down all life. Here's a hashtag to make you feel better about yourself. That's my first thing. Second thing, my favorite meme from the whole heterosexual Pride Day was like someone put up a map of the world, and it said, colored in red is all the countries it's illegal to be hetero, and like literally the whole map was white. Just white. That was my favorite thing from yesterday.
Oh man.
Yeah. All right, now for a quick save point, which is our video game news and reviews section. Quickly, for WWE 2K17 news, we don't really talk about sports or my guilty pleasure of the World Wrestling Entertainment. I wanted to give a quick rundown about it. It was announced this week that the third installment of the next-gen console version of WWE 2K series will be released October 11th, with Brock Lesnar gracing the cover. Brock looks to be having an exciting this year as he'll be in UFC 200 later this month, as well as performing at WWE's SummerSlam in August. The first to ever do something in this nature outside of Kenny Shamrock in the Attitude Era. I don't know if you guys remember him, but it was like this weird-looking Italian meathead old dude who was in like MMA first, and then he came over to do like a quick stint in the thing. So it's unprecedented because Brock Lesnar has had a weird off a loss at UFC because he had diverticulitis. Fighters were catching his weak spot, which is his stomach. So if he hits, like once you hit his stomach, it's a wrap. So he took the time off to come to WWE, where you technically don't have to. I mean, you still get hurt as bad, but they're a lot more careful about you doing so. I was able to heal, and now because of the time he took off, he's able to go back and fight UFC. A lot of people think this is a weird decision, including me. Because if he loses in July to this guy, his competitor Mark Hunt, and then he goes back to WWE, he kind of loses like the allure that this was an amazing fighter, because he got behind beat, especially if he gets knocked out. Please, like if he gets tapped out, anybody can get tapped out. But if he gets knocked out, when he comes back to the show, it's gonna be. And my other thing is he clearly like has Vince McMahon by the balls. Like he does not. He's allowed to do. He's been allowed to do anything he's wanted to do. He literally let him beat Undertaker's streak of 21 WrestleMania wins.
Why?
I don't know. They let him literally perform 4 times a year. excuse me, 4 times a year at pay-per-views. His manager comes out and talks for him, and all he does is just does this like
Are you
super.
serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious. It's like the craziest thing, and Vince McMahon lets him know because he's that big of a pull. It's like back in the day when the dude used to fight bears, like they used to have like the guy who fought bears in the circus. It's just like Brock Lesnar. So, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of over him. I mean, I've been watching him for the past years, and like you can kind of tell he's just now. At first, it was like exciting, but now you can clearly tell he's just doing it for the money. I mean, the 2K games. Back to I completely missed the point of it. The 2K games are cool. I kind of wish that another company would take over them by now, like the people who did WWF No Mercy in the early 2000s, which is my favorite wrestling game to this day. But
I know that game. That game is dope.
yeah, like it was just so, I don't know, the controls were on peak, but now like they focused on graphics and the timing of certain reversals and the storyline and like there's too much creation in some spaces when it should be more of a in tune regular wrestling experience for me. But yeah, that is our safe video game news. Now quickly, I just went to rant on Street Fighter V really quick. Okay, I was gonna hold off, but
No, you're allowed. This is ridiculous.
They ticked me off. All right. So it was revealed this week that they released Balrog as a free DLC character, you guys.
Woo!
Also, a free DLC is they're adding a cinematic story mode, something that's never been done before. Ever.
Story modes are now add-ons to video games.
Yes. Instead of, here's my thing. Okay, so Street Fighter's gotten a lot of flack. Street Fighter V has gotten a lot of flack this year because it's an unfinished game. There literally was like 10 fighters at the beginning of it, and they promised that every character that they add is going to be free. I mean, it's going to be a free DLC character, so they're going to add Guile and Balrog and Dulcim, but they're like, this is free DLC. No, the game's not finished. Just wait out for the game, and because of that, that game bombed. Like Mortal Kombat outsold. Like it's like literally Smash Brothers outsold it, and literally there's less units of the Wii U to sell it on, and it sold more. So for Capcom to pull this idea that they needed to put this game out in February, when it clearly was not finished, is disgusting. And I really hope that I know Tekken's not going to do that because Okada actually has integrity, and he wants to make a finished product. But I really think this is like Americanized culture being influenced on these Japanese games, because when Japanese game makers would make the games, they try to make them like masterpieces. They're works of art, right? They're works of art. And this is clearly Capcom was just trying to do a quick, like they haven't had, like their only hit game is Street Fighter. Mega Man done. Sonic's fun.
Sonic Sega, sure.
Sonic is Sega. I'm sorry. I always get them too.
Resident Evil's falling apart.
Their new game, their new multiplayer game is critically being bombed. Like it's being torn apart. So they were like, let's do a quick, like it'll boost the tournament scene back up, and we'll add new characters and just enable like newer characters and new fighting styles. But no, make a complete game first.
It's a money grab. I don't respect it.
It's just and it sucks because I blame us. Americans, like for messing up the game industry. Like when we had innocent like game makers like Nintendo trying to create fun experience with stuff, and then we found this Call of Duty Madden. Actually, no, I'll blame Madden. The Madden formula, where you make a game, you add 2 new features, and kind of tick up the graphics, and then it becomes a whole new game. And then like every year you get $60 things. Like you get Assassin's Creed every year. You get
Call of Duty.
Yeah, we would get Need for Speeds every year. So it's disgusting. I'm sorry, ran over. Street Fighter really took me out because I used to like that game. I always sucked at it, but I always thought the characters was really dope. So,
it's a legendary title in gaming, and so it's a shame to see it go that way.
Yeah, I've always been probably of all the fighters. I think Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken. Street Fighter was my favorite. Probably Street Fighter and Soul Calibur. So it is disappointing to hear that Street Fighter has went the way of a Madden and is just trying to pump out games rather than really focus on quality.
Yeah. Speaking of Soul Calibur, Sean, remember that game that you had when we were kids, and it was like weapons, and if you hit somebody in the leg, like their leg would like be injured, and they couldn't. What was that game?
Bushido Blade.
I was thinking of that the other day, and I was like, yo, I missed that game.
It's awesome. It was awesome because it was unique because there were no health bars.
No.
Stages were free roaming, so you could run around. They were 3D.
Yeah.
So it was very unique, and it's kind of sad that formula didn't last.
I miss that and Rival Schools.
Oh,
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yes. I had that game, and I feel like I've never like been to anyone else's house who had it or like played it in any other way other than at my house. Like it feels like sometimes it doesn't exist.
I think Bernard had that. Our friend Bernard.
Yeah.
I remember just the cover of it, and I remember loving that game. It was awesome.
I just remember when I came over to Ethan's house and discovered it, and we literally played it like 4 o'clock in the morning, trying to figure out everyone's tag team moves and just going through the story. Oh,
yeah, the tag team moves, because like my friend, like he let me borrow it, and I like just never gave it back.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that must be a thing for y'all's family.
Hilarious.
I love y'all.
I actually don't care. But moving on to I would say happier news, but I mean it's Game of Thrones, so not really.
Well, actually, before you do it,
okay.
time for Netflix.
Oh yeah.
Netflix again.
That's my favorite intro, but you got to do it. Sorry. All right, go ahead, E.
So on the season 6 finale of Game of Thrones, entitled Winds of Winter, which aired last Sunday, which left the world irrevocably changed after a
irrevocably. Ooh.
after the climactic Battle of the Bastards episode, where Jon Snow fought against Ramsay. This episode managed to keep the momentum by building up suspense. And I have to say, as you know, a storyteller and someone that loves writing and reading, like this show gave me such anxiety. Like watching that intro and hearing the violins and freaking Cersei needs nomination for her.
Oh yeah, we're about to spoil this hard. So
everywhere, run away.
Yeah, I'll put a timestamp exactly where this section begins and ends. So yes.
Yeah. Cersei's eye game deserved a nomination. Like, let's be real for 10 seconds. Like, she had such ferocity. Like, she barely said two words the whole episode, and yet she was doing the most.
Yeah, the facial acting, which I talk about all the time, it was just like, oh my god, I feel like I'm in your soul, and also like you're ripping my soul out.
Exactly. Like, my soul is gone now because of
through my kneecaps.
Right. Your eyebrows were on fleek. Like everything was just extra. So in this episode, Cersei claims the Iron Throne in the most vicious way possible, hardcore, cruel. In doing so, sacrifices so much that she now has reached the point of no return, and you can tell that from the final scene. Essentially what she did is that she used her little birds to execute a nefarious plan of exploding the High Sept, where she is supposed to stand trial for her crimes, by using burning candles to cause the wildfire to explode from underneath the building.
Thereby destroying almost all of King's Landing.
Yeah, this act kills Lancel, who did his best to stop this from happening. The High Sparrow, who, oh my god, thank you, I hated him just as much as Ramsay. Marjorie Tyrell, Loras Tyrell, the Lord of Highgarden, and even her uncle Kevin Lannister. So the death toll on this episode was extreme, and also Marjorie has been one of my favorite characters from the second she came on the show. I've been a fan of Natalie Dormer. For those who don't know, she played in Hunger Games. What was her name? She was the one who essentially video recorded Katniss.
She was the director of the propos in Hunger Games, the last two.
Yeah. She's such a talented actress, and that character, I loved how she played the game, because she played the game. Like, she was smart and cunning, and she manipulated people in a way that was just more tactical than Cersei was, who acts out of her own id, and just goes for what she wants rather than playing the long game. So it was a major blow having Marjorie die, but I also think that it was done in a respectful way because Marjorie was smart enough to know that something was amiss.
It was like her last stand.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, she
I'm
was
the smartest person on this in this kingdom.
exactly. You know, she was like, Cersei's not here. Tommen isn't here. If she's not here, there's a reason why she's not here. And that dumb freaking High Sparrow was just like, no, the gods will, the gods will set us all free. You know, and of course she sadly ended up being correct. But still, I have to give credit to that scene and the build up and Cersei watching from the Red Keep, and it kind of brings us back to the previous season where she had to make that walk back to
The Walk of Atonement.
right. And now she's standing on the other side and seeing this complete devastation of green flame engulfing a major part of King's Landing. Was nothing short of epic. Some other notable scenes, the Daenerys and Tyrion scene was really great because I feel like he's also a character much like Marjorie, who is insanely smart. He's tactical, he's cunning, he's all of these things, and yet he doesn't give the credit that he deserves. And in this episode, Khaleesi makes him Hand of the Queen, which is a title that he had when King Joffrey was king in King's Landing, but was taken from him by Tywin. Even though he did an amazing job, like the battle that they fought and won was because of him, and he's such a strong and devoted hand that it only makes sense for him to have that title, but because of his lot in life, essentially, that was taken away from him. So it was just very awesome for us to see him getting what he deserves.
What I love about Tyrion's arc up to this point is that, with the exception of Jaime Lannister, he is the one good Lannister.
Yeah.
He is the one that cannot be controlled by the Lannister name. He is the one that will do what's right against whatever his family says. And so I loved seeing him be granted that official bit of power that he's so much deserved in that position alongside Daenerys. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that goes going forward.
Yeah, and Peter Dinklage's acting is just so perfect because he's such a cynical character in so many respects, and yet when he's given this action by Daenerys, you can see that kind of phase in, and he's generally moved by this action itself. So that was awesome to see. Also, very fulfilling was Arya killing Walder Frey, which was seasons in the making to atone for the Red Wedding. That old man needed to die. Like, how is he still breathing? Like, he looks like death. So it was great. It was great to see Arya. You know, she has a name, and it is Arya Stark of Winterfell, and to see her slice Walder Frey's throat with not an ounce of remorse was
not to mention, like, feeding this man his children. Like, that is so rude. You fed this man his children, let him eat it, and then killed him. Like, that is everything. I've loved Arya since day one because she was such a stark contrast to, no pun intended, to her sister Sansa in the earlier seasons, where she didn't want her whole life didn't revolve around wanting to be royal. She wanted to be herself. She wanted to be happy. She wanted to find happiness. And so to see her continuing to just check names off that list that she's had for seasons, using her newfound talents, is just I love Arya. I love Arya so much.
Yeah, the evolution of her character has been very intriguing to see, I think, just because she's gone through so much and she's kind of like taken some steps back, which would seem like that would go against her, but I feel like that made her stronger, and I feel like we definitely saw the fruits of that labor in this episode. And then, of course, the big one, Jon Snow is Lyanna Stark's son, not Ned Stark's son. This was done so poetically. I feel like because like my thoughts when watching the scene where Ned Stark goes into the tower to speak to his dying sister who's dying from childbirth, and she makes this request of him keeping the secret. My thought went to the fact that Ned Stark had to carry this burden for the rest of his life, that people, then would see him as this person that kind of faltered and fostered a kid by another woman when it was actually a more altruistic endeavor. And this action itself like changed the course of history. So like that's where my mind went to. And then after that scene, it was also, there's this thing in writing where like in order to give you have to take, and after that scene Jon Snow is named king in the North. And he's essentially seen as Ned Stark's true son. So just when we find out that he's not Ned Stark's son, people now see him as Ned Stark's true son. So it's this awesome kind of duality that this show was able to showcase. And it definitely became one of my favorite scenes of the season.
Yeah. Before we close out this section, I just want to shout out Lady Mormont. The I think she's a 12-year-old girl. She is the lady of House Mormont, and she is everything. She's the smartest. She's the smartest person in the North, in my opinion, aside from maybe Sansa Stark. And I love her. So. Yes. Anyway.
Yeah. She called people out. She was like, "Where were you when he killed your family?" Like she just read the entire room, and they all bowed down to this little girl and to Jon Snow. So that was awesome.
For a second, I thought you said Lady Marmalade, and I was like,
"Pretty young lady."
All right. No, that's 3 ones now. That's 3 songs. Let's show this one more before the show ends. Okay, quickly on the BET Awards. At this year's BET Awards, which was hosted by the ravishing, perfect, hilarious, wondrous, loving Tracy Ellis Ross. Oh, and Anthony Anderson was there too. It was a pretty cool show. They had a tribute to Hamilton with a modern hip-hop take. Also, many Prince tributes, as he surely deserved, by Erykah Badu, Bilal, Janelle Monáe, Maxwell, and Jennifer Hudson. Super awkward award presentations with a faulty teleprompter that was literally like going super slow so people couldn't get to the jokes. So they'd be like the middle of a punchline and be like, "So then we went to the store and got cereal." I'm like, all right. And a speech for the ages by Sir Jesse Williams. I honestly love this show. They're kind of on a streak with award shows. People don't want to give the BET Awards shows props, but they actually have been very good for like the past 4 or 5 years. And yeah, to top it off with like the production values, the only time I ever just get ticked off is when Deborah Lee shows up to do her usual like, "Oh, this is a humanitarian," because I think of that Boondocks episode where she was like, "I seen a dude reading the other day. I seen a dude smiling. You know what that means?" But no, I thought the show was awesome. Literally, me and my mom were texting back and forth like every time something happened, especially Bilal's performance of what's that song? Baby, baby, baby.
I told you would sing on the show. You did it.
I had to, yeah. Just because he killed it. Nah, Bilal killed it, especially at the end of the thing. But yeah, no. Most important was this Jesse Williams speech that had everybody talking about this gorgeous human being. This man went up, literally spoke on equality. Us taking care of black women a lot better than what we've been doing before. Us taking like putting money back into our own as opposed to being branded by the system. And it's just I wish it was funny because like my favorite thing is people kept standing up and then sitting down as he kept saying things, and then
because he was not there for the "this is about me, I want everybody to remember me" saying this. He was there for "listen to what I'm saying."
Yes, right. And this is what these platforms should be used for. I mean, not like not DJ Khaled promoting this album coming out that we know we're going to buy. Like it's to stop doing in the '90s thing where you have to do an awards show presentation. Oh, I know this is a thing for the best fan appreciation. Well, when my album comes out the 17th, y'all go check. Like no, stop. There's Twitter for that. Like you have a bunch of Twitter followers. No one in that crowd is going to remember with everything else that happened in this show that you're doing that. So I appreciate I really hope this sparks other people doing that. honestly.
What I love about his speech was that his message was not about black people are better, white people are worse. His message was all about we are the same, like equal, and we should be treated equal, and we deserve the same opportunities and the same treatment as everyone else. And it was, you know what I mean? Like it was about, but it wasn't the typical like, oh, everybody be happy,
We are the
we all,
world.
you know, exactly. It wasn't that. It was very much like we're black and we're proud of that fact, but that doesn't mean that we have to be treated as lesser. That we should be treated as lesser.
Right.
Right. I mean, this was definitely about our freedom and our actual freedom and not our assumed freedom, because these are two different things. You know, like for instance, the Sandra Bland, you know, conversation of him saying that, oh, she's free, but then she acted too free. You know, it's like if we get an inch, we take a mile situation. And I feel like that's what needs to change, and that's what starts with equality. And that the conversation that he was bringing up was just that's all we are essentially asking for, that there's a huge discrepancy between, you know, how many times our people get killed versus a nonviolent situation where they're able to take down someone who is not of color. And just these factual information that we are given allows us to then draw a straight line from, you know, cause and causation. And then the question is, how do we go about making that change? And that change starts with these conversations.
Exactly. And this is also this is the reasoning for presenting a speech. Not like when Taylor Swift did that corny thing at the Grammys when she was like, "Don't you ever let anyone say that they are responsible for your thing," as a shot at Kanye. Like, you waited for Kanye to do a thing on a non-important issue. As we know, Taylor Swift, we know you were self-made. You know
That's why I say I don't. That's why I say I don't trust her, because she uses those moments to make it about herself at the end.
Yes,
of it.
exactly.
I don't respect that.
I was the corny. So like for Jesse Williams, but mind you, he has a well reviewed, like, amazing show running on ABC for 7 years, and he does not care. Like, I mean, like,
He's America's favorite
that.
black man.
yeah, exactly. He could literally go back to the show and be like, all right, well, you know, that was kind of much. We're gonna fire, and he wouldn't care. Like, that's not what he stands for. He had his dad crying. Like,
He had his white mom was there cheering
Yes.
him on, which I just love that so much.
So, man, look. So, and I think I just hope, like, when you said the whole putting money back in that thing, and like you said that into a room full of rappers, that they actually kind of took note. And I mean, you know, we'll see. Progress is progress. At least this is a step. So I love it.
It is.
Yeah.
Anybody saying anything in favor of our needs is a step in the right direction.
Please.
Exactly.
Yes.
And it's like he said, like, if you don't have any ideas in order to help our cause, like, you cannot detract from it. Like, you have to have a history of being able to detract them from people who try to impose upon us. And if not, then you need to sit down.
Sit down.
If you're as simple as that.
If you're too busy trying to figure out why we're wrong, then you don't have a word to offer in this.
Exactly.
So, yeah, but no, overall, yeah, no. BET Awards is dope, man. I know people like they're good shows. Like one of my favorite ones is when they had the James Brown tribute when Michael Jackson came out, and I cried because I didn't know that was happening. And then the Charlie Wilson tribute was also dope. Like, they're good for that. So I wish
better than anything MTV puts on.
Exactly. When people get mad that we don't accept the Grammy, like when Kendrick doesn't win the Grammy for the thing for album of the year, like, why does that matter? Like, we literally have a show for us where we're able to celebrate ourselves or whatever, and not by a majority of white people to tell me if Good Kid, Mad City is better than a Macklemore album.
Just real fast before we forget, Beyonce's performance was life.
And Kendrick,
it was life.
Kendrick stayed coming up with a quick new verse before everybody.
No.
I love it, yo.
Yeah, he's never sleeping.
That's why I appreciate him as a member, because he always tries to make his performances like a unique thing. I remember when he performed on Stephen Colbert. He was the last performer on Stephen Colbert's show. Stephen Colbert, right before he went to the Late Show, and he performed an unreleased, untitled song that he recently put out in February, but he did it last year, and he made it specifically for that as a moment thing. And I will I will always stand for Kendrick over anybody else because he's that. He's the next thing, man.
I mean, Kendrick is a true artist. I listened to his last album, How to Pimp a Butterfly, and to me, it was album of the year.
Masterpiece.
Hands down, just back to back. I still listen to it. Like I will still go out, like especially on riding. Like it's such a good thing. And my favorite thing about it is that you literally have to play that from the beginning to the end.
Yes.
You can't it's an entire.
I love albums like that.
Me too.
Like that.
King Kunta is my favorite. Just putting that.
All right. Now for Battle of the Bloods.
Oh!
This is our battle question. It's our battle question of the week. This one we're going to go in a different direction. I thought I'd try to make it a little lighter and funnier. So the Olympics are in a few weeks in Brazil, but the venue seems to be in a bit of trouble. So with the Zika virus running wild, hotels being unfinished for the newcomers, and body parts washing up on shore as of Wednesday, what would it take to convince you to go to this year's tournament?
Oh God. I'm gonna need a second.
To attend?
Yeah, if they were like, hey, it's a free ticket to the Olympics. What would be like, hey, I'll go, although I might die. Like, although they're literally living Jumanji out there.
You got monsoons, a lion, a monkey boy.
If they offered me $93,000 to pay off student loans, in addition to the free ticket to get there and attend, as well as stay, and a personal performance with me and only my closest friends to view Beyonce. Full formation tour, the whole thing.
While drinking lemonade.
Yes.
Yeah, like my mind, like the only thing I can think of is money. Because I don't see if there's like anything else where like I'd be like, oh, I want to go there so bad that I would risk that happening to me. So like money, and I'm thinking if there's anything else, like maybe if there's like an advanced viewing of the next Justice League movie, or to sit down with Ben and Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, talk to them, like something epic like that. Otherwise, no, it's not going to happen.
My thinking is just like so there's a good chance I'm not going to survive the trip. So my thinking,
I'm going to make this count.
I need to make sure that my debt is gone for my family, so that my family does not have to inherit that. Yes. And Beyonce is the one person in the whole world that I need to see at some point in my life, and so that needs to happen.
They would have to say you're allowed to participate in the Olympics. I get to announce.
I was gonna say, what do you want to do?
I get to announce. I get to throw a javelin. I get to be like front row seats. Yeah. I get to be in front row seats of all the USA basketball team. I get to commentate on boxing. I get to play tennis with Serena. Like I get to do as much as I want to do. To risk.
That would be really awkward watching this, like knowing that you're here for this specific reason and you're on like every program in the audience or broadcasting.
Do you know what this would do for Blerd?
Yeah, I would have visibility the entire time.
Oh my God!
I do it for Blerd culture.
You got to. Body, like literally, they're living the play. Blerd. Yo, body parts washed up on shore, bro.
Like, what we need to start worrying about is that 2 years ago in Sochi for the Winter Olympics, they also had horrible issues. We need to start considering the states of these countries before we choose to hold the Olympics. Yeah.
There's only two people that are going to do it right. China and America, like, because we both have.
Canada does fine with winter sports. They do well. You know, everybody is nice in Canada except for that except for that guy I work with. He's a dick.
I would say with the warm Olympics. I apologize. Because we have too much pride. Both countries have too much pride to make each other look bad. Like they're always trying to one up each other. But leave it alone outside of that. Jesus Christmas.
Chicago's been trying to grab the Olympics for a while, and they just won't let them have it. Just let them have it. First of all, Chicago is one of the greatest cities in America that I've been to. I love Chicago.
Parts of Chicago.
I mean, as a general thing, because that's true for all cities.
White Chicago is one.
No, just as a general thing, for real.
I got you. As soon as you get Southside, though, it's around. Okay. But as for that, we're gonna put this question on our Facebook for you guys to answer, and
Yeah.
hopefully you get some funny responses, memes, gifts, all that jazz. And
all that jazz.
that's four. I knew it. I knew another one was coming here. But outside of that, this is Blerd Culture signing off. Please remember us. Remember to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr. Join our Facebook group. It's very, very easy to do so. And rate our show on iTunes. We will be back with our Comic-Con extravaganza.
Hey.
And stay tuned. Love y'all. This is Troy signing out.
This is Ethan. Just because we're magic doesn't mean we're not real.
Ooh, bars.
And this is Sean. Ooh, shocky, break it, baby. Electric later, electric later. Ooh, shocky, break it, baby. Electric later, electric later. Ooh, shocky, break it, baby. Electric. Sorry.
All right. I love you. Peace.